So we're back at the second last class of global citizenship. Every student knows the class requirements, and every student should know that your final requirement has to be evaluated by your classmates, right? And so if this is your final presentation, do you have a form to get some feedback or an evaluation from people? If not, this is in the regular class requirements as a suggestion. But you make sure you get a mark, right? The mark is coming partly from your classmates. If they don't fill it out, you don't have a full mark. We have this group, Kim Ji-soo. Again, I haven't heard from you guys. If you're not here, we're going to have to go to the next, which is this one is a weekly topic. Great. And the last one is just a review from before. So would you like to make sure your classmates know how to give you marks? Basically tell them to look at this and get ready to mark down some points. How can they evaluate you? It's up to that.
Okay.
Right? Every class, there's two main things you should focus on. One, you have a message. So you have a PPT, good. You're going to talk about it, good. But you should maybe give a slide and check they understand. Maybe your English or whatever you're saying, they understand. But then number two, everything you're saying, your idea, make sure they understand the intention. So right now, one of the biggest intentions you have is to get marks. So I think none of them are really paying attention to this, which means you might not have detailed marks. I have to hand into administration detailed marks. So any questions for me? No? Oops, that's your phone. The last thing I wanted to do is just remind you guys that many years ago, the president basically created this class. And this class was designed to say, basically in chapter 1, would you like to read that? Chapter 1. What are we trying to learn? Great. Hi, my name is George. And it doesn't get too much more complicated than that. So we have gone beyond this book that we talked about basically in the first week. And there's a bunch of other additional things throughout the semester. We have talked about some of this, how to go from college into a career, which has also been in the office if people were checking. And this I have recommended several times. It's in several
students. Hi, can you go to the class outline? Yes, that's fine. And go to the sign up sheet. Yeah, that's one. Do you see your group and the link to your Google Drive folder?
So we need another file.
Okay. So this was recommended to you guys.
Keep going down.
If you present some of this.
Yes, that's your PPT.
Or the extra books that we got. These are used in the class. If you present any information from it, could be extra marks for you guys. From day 1, I can show you guys generally what was the best way for you guys to communicate, to become a specialist, to develop your career. And this is a good example of what students should be able to handle. So if you want to see these details, feel free to take a look. Go ahead, ladies.
Sorry.
For everyone else, if you want to present today or next class, make sure you're prepared, get your material open and ready to present, shared with everyone in Facebook, right? Because you need to get evaluations from your classmates.
Everyone. Should I use the mic?
Good morning, everyone. Today we will present about the water shortage in Somalia. Before we present, do you know well serious of water shortage, Joseph? How do you know? And do you know well about water shortage, Jisoo? Jisoo? Can you tell about from your knowledge? Thank you for sharing your opinion. As you two guys have answered, and many of you know there is a water shortage going on in Somalia. Before we will briefly discuss about the problem.
So before we start our contents, this is the contents that we're going to present today. First, we're gonna tell the introduction and background of research paper, article resources, and conclusion. Okay. So we are group 2, Kun-Ah Kim, Yoon-Seok Kim, and Soyeon Kim. So the reason that we chose this topic was because the water shortage problem becomes a worst ever. And the big countries that we affect was Somalia. So we chose the specific country to discuss about a water shortage problem in Somalia. Now, Yunso will going to explain the background of our topics.
Recently, many countries who face water shortage problem. Among them, Somalia faced worst drought problem protracted since 2015. As a matter of fact, Somalia since 2011 has had once reasonable rainy season in 2013, with the remaining years falling well short of the average of 2 rainy seasons per year. As a result of this prolonged drought, 70% of families in Somalia cannot obtain clean water. The sources of Somalia water are from dug wells, boreholes, springs, dams, and other. Somalia's development of new water resources is full of challenges, most importantly, poor water quality. Most groundwater sources have a salinity of more than 2,000 USCM, exceeding the drinking water standard. Moreover, water shortage in Somalia is an unsafe problem that connects with Somalia's citizens' health. Without access to clean water, toilets, and good hygiene practice, the risk of contracting easily preventable diseases such as diarrhea, acute watery diarrhea, cholera, and respiratory infections is high.
So this is the articles, the resources that we found from Scopus. We found we didn't find the exactly Somalia water shortage problem article. That's why we tried to find a article about a water shortage problem. So we can see that there are various kinds of articles about water shortage problem, which also show us that we have a serious water shortage problem in this world. So this is the end of our presentation. We tried to present about a water shortage problem, and now you guys know about a water shortage problem. We hope that we are going to find a way to less a water shortage problem. And this is the references. Thank you for listening. So now, is there any question that you guys want to ask about our presentation? Yes, Joseph? In Somalia, the main causes of water shortage problem is because it become for the less rain. Like there was always a month, the time that the rain dropped, but after since 10 years ago, what I remember 10 years ago, the weather in Somalia changed suddenly, so they cannot get enough water from the rain. And I think that's the reason what we researched. Next, any question? So if you guys don't have any question, thank you for listening our presentation today. Yeah, maybe we're going to get a feedback using a Facebook or Kakao. We'll just ask them a feedback. Yeah.
So far, I've been asking every class. That has been said, yes. So we say it now. When do you think is appropriate?
I have three suggestions to make your presentation.
Okay, we understand your feedback and we will try to develop more at our next presentation. Thank you.
Did I just lose my signal? I don't hear anything coming from you, Sean.
Yes, so thank you for commenting, Joseph. For everybody else in the class, other than the presenters, thank you very much. I want to just check your level of understanding. Who can tell me what was the summary of their summary? Everyone, usually you need to have a good educational topic. It's best if you're using keywords in the topic. Good, you have had a very easy to understand good title, but their summary, their abstract. What is it that they were just saying? Going once, anybody? Twice, anybody? 3 times. So the rest of you guys, when you're going to be presenting, make sure it's clear what it is that your research has found and teach somebody something new right at the beginning and then try to explain that. Definitely explaining it is important. How about a simple question, a basic question? When you're communicating, there are lots of people like Donald Trump saying anything, but you need to reference what? How can you be considered a specialist internationally? What do you need to reference? What types of things can you reference? Going once. The author, okay. Yes, that's the how you present, but what types of things can you present? What is good? What is bad? What is old? What is new? What is stylish chit chat gossip versus other types of materials? What types of things can you reference? You could show images, yes. Sorry? What we were teaching in class, what was the idea of international global citizenship communication when we're teaching it in class? What are some of those details? Going once, going twice. It has to be in your references is a huge hint. Come on. Every one of you should be presenting several of these in your final references. What are they? What are we looking for to show you're a specialist? That whole idea of here, right? You can show anything. You can just survey people like Donald Trump, but sometimes even Donald Trump, even though he's a powerful person, his information is flawed, not reliable. And a lot of this stuff from regular magazines or even university information or organizations or government or businesses, they usually only say good things about what they're interested in. They don't usually say the bad things about themselves. So it is biased. And then the idea of CNN, BBC, news, what you hear a lot online, that is telling you just part of the story. It's not checked. And then the whole idea of blogs. These are less reliable, but you need to be able to use some of this information. So what is the best information to use to show that you're a specialist, even the team presenting? Going once. Could you repeat my question, please? Make sure I understand that you understand my question. What was the question? What am I asking you? Yes, the value of this table. What do you need to use for sure? What and where are some good things? What is good things? What is the value of this table? Yes, you definitely have to reference this. Thank you. What about at the back? Can you tell me what do you have to reference at least a few of to be considered a reliable specialist? Put the dates of where you got the articles. Okay, yes. The format of how you reference, it is important, but that's a different topic. That is talking about here. The style of how you present is important. And everything you get, you should show a reference to. Where did you get your information? Otherwise, it's not good. And so yes, with references, you have to have in-text referencing and you have to have final referencing. Yes, with the author, the year, the title of the article, the title of the journal, the volume number, even the DOI or the website where you got it. Yes, this is the format of how you're doing, but thank you for clarifying that. But we're talking about making you a specialist. For example, you can interview Donald Trump. Maybe you're very, very lucky to interview Donald Trump, but while you could say, you know, Trump, Donald, 2021, and you can do a proper reference of him, his information is probably really, really biased and not really reliable. So I'm asking, what can you present that is reliable? Last chance. Yes, Yichang. Good, Scopus and SSCI. Can you elaborate on that? What is that and what is most reliable and what have we suggested in class is easiest to use of those two? Okay, K-Myung provides access to all of this information. Your tuition pays to get access to almost everything. And so in here, the top is the Web of Science. And for our field, social sciences, it's the social science cited journals or the SSCI social science cited index. And it's all from the Web of Science. That is the best of the best. But it's very, very specific and it's sometimes hard to understand. So it has been simplified. This is more open in Scopus. So Scopus is, some people say, less reliable than the top, but it's definitely good. And our class requirement, you should have several, if not 7 to 10 of these references, like this example, when you're presenting your final information. But I'm just going to summarize. If anybody else wants to comment, what is the next sentence I'm going to say? I've said several times in class, when you present information, you should also, because it takes a long time to make this can get old fast. You should also present this because it's new. And so you have the new information that's not very reliable and a little bit older information that is very reliable. So you should have both, especially the most reliable stuff. And again, my question for anybody, except the presenters, thank you for presenting. If I heard you say you're going to present again, great. If you are going to present again, make sure your final presentation has clearly reliable references and share that with the group. So what was the abstract they have just presented? Back row here. Can you tell me what was their main abstract? You've already helped, thanks. I was talking to the guy in the back row over here. Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't hear. What was it that you're saying? Yes, okay. The idea of an abstract. Can you help me read this? What is this saying? What is an abstract? If you need glasses, that's okay. What about the guy in the second back on this row? Yes, can you read this abstract? Great, and the most important part is it's an executive summary of your main findings. So in the gray jacket, can you give me what is the executive summary of their main findings? What did they try to teach the world? These are ideas that should help you guys in any class and in every presentation going forward. Try to keep this in mind, right? This is where your points come from. It's from, again, this presentation that everybody's had from day one. And I highly suggest, if you want the marks, to go through it, and everyone should be trying to write down details, evaluate it. If you don't, I can't give you points, because your suggestions for this and an evaluation gives you points. And it's not bad at all. It helps other people clarify their communications. So talk about the how evaluate their content and knowledge, evaluate their research, support material, their delivery, the class requirements, the big picture process. All of these things you can talk about. If you have a different evaluation, you need to present it to the class before you're going to be presenting. So please, to help these ladies presenting, they did a good job presenting. Thank you, ladies. Make sure you share this when they share their file in Facebook. Let's get the next group up. What is your topic about? This one, okay? Again, I can give points to the first team that just went. So if the first team, there's 3 ladies, I'm going to give one of you extra bonus points if you can summarize what I told you guys about those 2 main things you must remember, right? The first thing is make sure your message is understood. What is the second thing you need to focus on? I can't give any of the team extra points. What's the, when you're communicating, you must understand 2 main things. What are those 2 main things about global communications? Make sure other people, you have, I don't know, let's say 20 different slides. Each slide, you're saying something. You will use your language. So the first thing, you must make sure they understand your language meaning. But although that could be translated, it could be wrong. What's the second thing you need to check? Ichangnon. Last class, you and I had this chat quite clearly together with Joseph. Can you summarize those 2 main points? Make sure the class understands them. Okay. Make sure whatever words you're saying first are understood, your language, but the translation of your language can be misunderstood. So number 2, you must understand, you must make sure that your intention is understood. So get feedback from them almost every slide to make sure what you're trying to tell them is understood in their words. Okay. And the very last thing I was telling to you guys, the reason you're presenting today is I would guess you want to get marks. So how do you plan to get an evaluation and marks from them? Do you have an evaluation form that you want them to go through? Or would you like me to help you get some sort of marks and evaluation? Because I am not the only one to give you grades. To get the best grades, you need evaluations from all your classmates. It was not an okay type question. Great, thank you. So again, this idea here, you're going to go through, you want some marks from them if they are able to comment something like this. So take something like this, give you something like this. Evaluate what is your content. How much do you know? Evaluate what is your research and support material. Evaluate your delivery. Like he said, practice beforehand. Good suggestion. So these type of things you can evaluate. And this is just an example, the level of achievement. If you get the top level, you have something like this. If you have the just pass, with these details, then it's related to this, or this just meets expectations or meets the base requirements. This information also, it's helpful for you to make sure they're going to give this to the class when you're finished, or talk about this when you're finished. Okay? I think we're back to this. Go ahead.
Hello everyone, our topic is effective communication between sports team and fans in ranking. These are our concepts. We want to know the communication between supporters and clubs could really make fans founder of the club, and we wanted to know what applications people use a lot when they see sports club news. Also, we wanted to know that social media could really be a method of every generation to market to. So, Chanya, did you understand our abstract? So, in sports, communication is essential.
Thank you. Awesome start. You have said something and he understood you, but does he really understand your intention? So how about we skip to the next slide and ask him how to improve what was the message. So the words are understood, but what is the intention?
So, what do you think our intention is?
In the abstract, they're teaching the world something new. What are they teaching the world new? Would you like to summarize again? That's an example, right? You said something and they heard you, but they didn't understand really some of the intention.
So we want to know that in sports communication is very important. So we want to know how they communication with fans and coaches. That's our intention.
Great, but the abstract should be teaching what you found. You have been researching this for several months. What did you find?
That things are next slide.
Okay, good, but it should, thank you, it's a good start, but your abstract should say exactly what you found, not say what we're going to do. So if you guys are going to present again next week, good, you can get even high marks, you get good marks for today, and you can get higher marks if you follow those instructions. In the gray jacket, do you understand what I've just said? What do you need to do to get even more marks? Good, good, yes. So you found something, start by just summarize what you found exactly. Great, thank you. Please continue.
Okay, so also we want to know in sports communication is essential to players. Players must communicate with each other during games or practice. These are pictures of players get advices from coaches.
I don't mean to be difficult. I'm trying to help you guys. And whether it's the first class or last class, the message is the same. To me, this is fun. Even here, this slide and the last slide. Thank you for presenting. You did a good job. Can you tell me where they found this exactly? Right? They use Google to find information. Is Google reliable, or does Google sometimes have bullshit? Is neighbor always true, or do some people lie and have crazy things in neighbor? Right?
Yeah.
They're trying to teach the importance of something. So wherever you get it, they got an image. If you don't show where you got it, you're stealing it. How do you reference? Right, the URL link. You should have the author's name, year, the specific details where you get it from. And it's not, an introduction is not just showing an image. You're supposed to be teaching something, talking about details. Hopefully that helps.
Thank you. Also, communication with friends are very important. To communicate with friends, they use many social media like Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. However, due to COVID-19, the games are held without spectators, so it's more important to communicate with friends.
I will be talking about performance literature. Absence of supporters has a substantial influence on the experience and behavior of players and staff. If there are no supporters on the field where the players play, there is no difference from just exercising. On this article, it shows that home crowds have a particularly strong effects on the way referees treat away teams. So, the social pressure exerted by home crowds has an important effect on the behavior of referees and home team. We made this slide for easy understanding. Also, this paper was made by researching a Polish soccer team. Several factors like matches without audience participation or with a limited number of fans, and even the suspensions of game changed the communication with fans that moved to social media. Through this paper, we can show how football teams use social media to build and maintain the relationship with their supporters during the pandemic. Lastly, this paper is saying that COVID-19 has given greater importance to the role of social media in sports. We brought this paper to let you know the essential way for fans to stay in touch with their teams and put their commitment to society. I think this is the that paper that matches really well with our topic. Also, this paper especially talk about the role of corporate social responsibility in a time of crisis and the potential of social media as a corporate social responsibility communication. And next, this is our survey question. First is, do you have any favorite sports club? And second one, do you have any experience of communicating of two sports player? And then, where did you ever seen any sports club in your SNS? And then, how many times you see sports club SNS in week? And then, does the sports clubs SNS help you support your team? And do you have experience that sports clubs SNS made you interested in and buy any product? We surveyed 23 people. 9 people use Instagram, and 6 people use Facebook. 3 people use Twitter, no one use TikTok, and 5 people use Twitter. To see sports club news, people use Instagram most, and Facebook, YouTube, Twitter in other. This research was the same as the article about spend engagement thought social media in other of Instagram, Facebook. These are data from the paper which are similar to the part we surveyed, and there are different. In Korea, Instagram and especially YouTube are more active than Facebook. Mention of the journals on the different social media platforms. You can see an overwhelming number of Twitter here. And we asked the sports club's SNS to help you support your team, and all of 23 people answered yes. And we asked, do you have any experience that sports club SNS made you interested in and buy any product too? And 50 people answered yes, and 8 people answered no. Each reference to journals on various social media platforms, you can see an overwhelming number of Instagram here. So the result of our survey showed that apps are used or lauded the order of Instagram and Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. However, it can be seen that Instagram is very active in foreign countries. And we found out that the club's SNS absolutely has supporters. We also learned that the sports club's SNS made supporters pay attention to and purchase products.
And our research conclusion is it came from the importance of using social media independently and showing the social platform preference of football club supporters, another of Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And the proportion of social media will be able to 10 even after COVID-19 is over. Here is our paper.
Great, but not finished, right? Now, what do you want to do? You're here to get marks. So grab the marks from these guys. If they don't talk, strangle them. Get points from them. It will help you. Good luck. It's hard to get points from them. Good luck.
Yes. It was a great our presentation.
Second, you need to show why, right? It can't just be 100%. You need to know your message and why, the intention. So, good try, but I'm not going to be tricked that easy. Get him to say why it's good or what's the 20% that could improve, something like that. Anyway, it could be bullshit. I'll give you the marks, but you got to try a little bit more. Keep trying. I will give you the marks, but you must ask these guys for marks and to explain why. Why do you say that? Why don't I have 100%? Something like that.
So first of all, I'm going to talk about 3 points.
first thing is that the picture of the survey was too small. It was like details about it, and your voice were too small. It was hard to understand. Last, as Jordan said, I think there should be some tricks that could catch our attention. So, with these reasons, I think you can make it better.
Thank you. I think you don't care about his ideas. You should, but you don't. You care most about art. What is the art? Come on, I'm helping you guys. Don't make me repeat this. Thank you. Seven. Thanks, guys. Great start. You were following the steps. You're doing well. Can you guys teach the class? What do you think you could do to be a better global citizen? What do you think you could do better? What have you learned in your classwork that you showed? What can you teach that? Any ideas? Do you think this is perfect? Is this from God? Is this from angels? Is this 100% back from Tanya? Or maybe if we had more time, we could do this or this. Or if you're going to present next week, you could get more. You know what you think is the most interesting thing you want to improve? How about each one of you? Do you understand my question? Can you tell me what do you understand is the question?
So we have to teach them how to evaluate
Sure.
communication or
For your presentation, your work, and how can your work be even better? Okay. Now that you said that, I want to hear at least one idea from you, and you, and you, and you, one idea each, and then you can relax.
so we have to make proper references like pictures or can only rely on data.
Okay. Oh, okay. Good.
So we're going to fix that.
Good.
And then we survey more detailed certain design.
Survey more. I don't really have to. You mean just do more work, do more in depth? Is that what you mean? Put the presentation results in the survey. Put more details of what you found into your presentation. Okay, good.
Put a proper abstract in presentation.
Oh, you're copying. That's what he said. I took notes, I know. So good try, but you said that, right? Let's go through. So you said make proper references. You know how? What is proper reference? Good. Not just, so that's a good thing to say. When you're referencing, you can reference anything. You can reference my dog. You can reference a drunk guy here, or you can reference very reliable Scopus, right? Even better than Scopus is Web of Science, but you can reference anything. When you reference, today we reference just Google or Naver. that's still actually stealing things because the owner of that image or the owner of the story, I think you presented, one of you did background literature. Who did background literature? You did background literature. You did research. I saw that. And you referenced at least 3 different researchers, which was good. But can you show us where you got that?
Got that on
Okay, so I saw that you got one from like Kurva, and you got another one from a guy with a very long name. But where did you get that? Can you show that in your reference list? Good. So you got Carlos Cuerva 2020. You showed that in your slide. So that was good. The very first one, that's good. And so you said you need to reference more, the style of referencing. And I think each time you guys were talking about what is the style to reference. How should anybody reference properly? Think through this. So if you guys have questions, I'll help you to get it upgraded, but it looks like nobody else is interested. So thanks. If you guys want to sit down, go ahead and sit down. I'll give you the mark. If you do have questions, if you want it, I'm here to tell you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks. Okay, so since I see nobody else is up here, I'm going to be talking about the global Englishes.
Right. I think we still have one more group want to present the weekly topic. Was it Sun Jin John and Jin Won?
I have asked the class and they haven't replied, so maybe they're not here or not ready. I'm not sure. Okay, if you're going to present, are you the one presenting this one? Okay.
Yeah. The topic title is the elements that make people enjoy Twitch. Yeah. The first, simply about Twitch. Twitch is a live video platform specialized for streaming video games. Streaming refers to any media content, delivered to computers and mobile devices via the internet in real time. Little history. Actually, there are more 3 people, but simply 2 people. In 2007, Justin Khan and Emma Shear created the live streaming platform, Justin TV, and the gaming section grew exceptionally fast in 2011. Justin TV renaming the site Twitch. 2021, 2.84 million average users, 9 million streamers, and 2020, 18.6 billion hours watched. And additionally, the Amazon acquired it at $970 billion or in cash. So what I want to say is it is the best streaming platform. Okay, the first element is it is a real-time streaming. Comparable to sportscast, real-time live event is highly relevant for the audience's suspense as interest, different from a movie series or let's play video that can be watched repeatedly, but it is live performances are unpredictable for the reason that there is no chance to know what will happen next. Second element is relation with streamer. Twitch users are also able to follow their favorite streamers. As a result, they will be notified whenever their favorites are hosting a stream. Streamers do interact with users. They answer questions asked in the chat, address their audience, and explain why they follow certain strategies. Final element, it is interacting with the community of users. With chat, the relationship Twitch users maintain with the streaming person, they also get the chance to communicate with other users within the chat. So conclusion, the three elements are real-time streaming, relationship to streamer, and interacting with users with chat. Twitch is the best streaming service. It's a place where people from all over the world gather. Therefore, it's good to enjoy Twitch platform with other users while considering these factors. Thank you.
Get some marks in the class.
Yeah, many people choose Joseph. So could you just advise for my present or grade? Mhm. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And could you give grade for us? How do you think our grade could be? Its maximum point is 10, maybe.
I heard the 7.
7.
I hear the 6.
Could you please +1?
Good, even better. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Pod, did you have any comments for anybody before I go back? Pod, can you still hear us? Anybody else online? There's a few people, some people online. Any other comments from the people online or what?
Yeah, so I would like to compliment on the student presentation today. You guys did very well. I just want to remind you that we still have 5 groups who haven't presented the final project. So next class will be very easy, very busy, sorry. And yeah, please reserve your time of presentation with me so we can have enough time for everybody.
To be a little bit more specific, some people have already shared details with Hua saying that you want to present in this class, but as we identified, you need to be specific if you want help, if you want points. If you just say you want to present and other people say, I want to present from 12 to 12:10 and somebody else from 12:10 to 12:20, maybe you will not have time to present. So try to share your file like this, or even better, your files in here. So students from group 7, thank you for sharing information here. Try to focus on those 2 messages again. Everything you do, you're trying to say something, make sure they understand your language. So here, we understand your language. Group 7 weekly presentation. Great. But since you were popular and you were popular, how about the guy that came late in the white jacket is back? Can you identify the second message that we're taught in class is to check other people understand your intention. First rule that I've been teaching in this class, you say something and you can check people understand. Here's a perfect example. He's saying something and you can read it, you understand it. But what's the second rule? Check what is his intention and put it in better words. So do you know what his intention is for this? What is he trying to teach? What is he sharing? What is he teaching the world? Can you put that in better words? Help his intention be clear. Right? So he's got a presentation here. There's two things. He's wrote here, so you know what he's saying. Nobody has any question. And he wrote the title here, so you know what this means. There's no argument. What his presentation message is clear. But the intention, you still don't know why he's doing this. What is he trying to teach the world? Same thing here. Why is he trying to teach the world? So do you have some comments? Or if you want points, we will give you points. Will you do the same thing? Or how could it be done better in your understanding? Yeah, what is the point of his presentation? Great. So he's saying something here, but what is the polite way to say, what's your point? When you write that, that's exactly what some people are thinking. What's your point? Why should I check this if I don't know what it is? Maybe it's a computer virus. I don't know. Right. So make sure your point is understood to other people in everything you do. The file name. Make sure people understand what it is. Things like that. What is your, if you want points, if you want to participate and get the maximum points, you need to share something here. What are you going to write here? Let's make it right now. Just guess. Bullshit. Tell me anything, but try to make it sound good. Good. So you will post something here, maybe today or before next week. In your post, what will you write? About what? Everybody wants to talk to the audience. He's doing the same. He wants to talk. He's got a whole PPT. But you don't have a point yet. What's your point? Anybody? Who's the next person that wants points? I'll give you points if you tell me how to communicate better. Thanks, Itanyo. Thank you. Sorry? Okay, thank you. Is that the point? That helps, but it's not the point. Joseph. That's what I'm doing. That's what I've done all class. Yes, thank you. So what's the point? Like, you need to post something. Somebody needs to write something again and again. Each one of you, you must make a point. What will you say? Next class, what will you say? You can change these titles, change these words. What are better words? Anybody? If you tell me, I'll give you points. Joseph, maybe you get a half. So maybe you get a half. Actually, your Kakao Talk ID, it's not really that important because anybody here, you just click on it and you already have their context. The bigger point is the message. What are they trying to say? Yes, the back. Do you have any guess? such as, go ahead, tell us an example. What is your real sentence you will write? What is your topic? Word number one. What is the first word you're going to write? Awesome. Effective communication between what? I didn't hear the last part. Awesome. What is effective communication between sports teams and fans with marketing? Great. And then the same type of thing, you can summarize and say something similar in your file title. If you get more experience, you should know you never open a file unless you know exactly what it is, right? It could be a virus. So thank you for that. Any questions about how I can give you guys more points? We have a choice now. We have 5 more minutes, and in 5 more minutes, I can summarize this weekly topic, or I can help answer questions to help you get more points. Do we have can I see a number? Everybody raise your hand. Either you want number 1 or number 2. Number 1, you want me to teach this weekly topic, or number 2, you want me to talk to you about how you can get more points, how you can upgrade what you've done. Please, everybody, raise your hand. Show me number 1 or number 2. I didn't offer number 3. Okay, only 1 person. 2 people. I've asked. Okay. It seems like the class is not really interested. If you guys get the class interested, I'll do it. Otherwise, it sounds like you're not listening. Some people are laughing at text online. So I'm just going to go through this. This is part of both. The idea of to get marks. You can get marks for doing your weekly presentation. Yes, next week is the last week. There's many topics. Again, this could be presented. This could be presented. This could be presented. We've talked about all of these things in class. These things can be presented. Any of these details can be presented. For maximum marks, your final presentation, it should look something like this. This has been shown in the first class. I'm showing it again here. You can also get bonus points. For example, you just need to show a PPT. This has the PowerPoint presentation of the project. It's here. And you can get marks. The only way to get marks is you have to show the peer evaluation. So these bottom 2 things are the class requirement. For bonus points, for extra points, you could do a video of what you're talking about. And you can get it done through Facebook and get the evaluations there. Show those evaluations. If you do that, you don't need to present next week your project. You could do something else and get more points. For example, you could maybe apply for a grant. I have talked about that. If you want me to remind you, I can remind you how to do that. You can get extra points for that. You can also make the paper. If you make the paper, you don't have to, but that's extra marks. And as we said, there's all of these weekly topics related to the class. If you give another weekly topic next class, that's extra 10 extra marks, and you still get your research project because you presented it in Facebook. So for the rest, we only have a few minutes left of class. Is there any questions about that? You were making a joke about saying number 3. What was your point about number 3? I should laugh. Maybe it's funny. My funny bone got broken earlier. What is your joke about number You're trying to give me the middle finger, read between the lines. Okay, great. So I understand I can't help you get more points, so I'm just going to go on for this. What does global English mean? Learning English, Singlish, Indian English. There's lots of different types of English. The way you usually communicate is not traditional English, because the Korean mind has a high context culture. You use just a few words. It is English, but it's not traditional English. So we're going to talk about different types of global English. This is just a simple example.
Hey guys, real quick, let me give you a tip on an
Simple example of one type of.
I think the next time I have to speak to a call center in India, I'm going to try using an American accent. Why? Because when I use my regular voice, I feel like I'm making fun of them.
That's ridiculous. Not to mention your American accent is terrible.
Dude, my accent is brilliant. Hey, my Snow White American friends, let's put some cow meat on the barbecue and eat it until we're all obese.
This is what you sound like. I think I'm talking in an American accent, but it really sounds like I'm wearing a set of giant dentures.
Sheldon, do I really sound like that?
Tell him he sounds like that.
Sheldon, you okay?
It's been 3 days. Why hasn't Stephen Hawking played a word?
The guy's a genius. Maybe you weren't challenging enough for him.
Not challenging. I was humiliating the man. I was thinking of writing a book called The Brief History of the Time I Made Stephen Hawking Cry Like a Little Girl.
Okay, so what they're saying is there's many types of English. There's many ways to communicate. I see that in class. What we're trying to do in class with this book is to take your level of understanding of global communication and show you there are ways to communicate at a higher level, more as a specialist. You guys have been shown details. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to help you. If not, thank you very much. Have a good class. Have a good day. So, Hua, I guess there's no interest in quiz. It's just the presenting. Yes. Just a sec. What was that, Hua? I can't hear you. You're on mute.
I was saying you can talk to the student and then we can talk about the quiz later.
Right now, there's no interest in quiz. So,
yeah, if no one want to take the quiz, then it's fine. We don't need it.
we have
But
one last class and
that
rest.
sorry, I'm checking.
Several more students here, so
That in the yellow highlight and the gray is still below 50%.
right.
They even take the final presentation. It's not gonna be enough to pass the class. So I'm just offering an option,
Right.
which is
I have asked the students if they want to talk about extra things, but almost everybody has walked out. So it doesn't look like anybody's talked about a quiz or planned for a quiz or is interested in a quiz. I wish there was. Thanks. All right. Thanks. Talk to you later, Hua.
bye.